Hey guys, welcome back to No Catchy Name. It's me, Ella. Today is actually Friday. I didn't record what I've been working on this past Tuesday because I was busy with a bunch of life stuff and market prepping and all that jazz. So I have a market tomorrow and I wanted to show you all the things that I made before the market just in case they sell. So I thought I'd hop on here today and do it. So today is Friday, I think the 14th of November, which is crazy. I feel like time is just flying by, and so I'm going to hop on here and share what I made this past week. And actually, some of the things I made last week for the last market did sell, but I have other ones of the same ones to show you. So last week I made 6 penguins, and it's a free Instagram pattern. If you don't have Instagram, all you have to do is email me and I will send you screenshots of the pattern because they are free patterns. But you do have to have an Instagram account to access them, but Instagram is free, and if you have a Facebook account you can just connect them. Yeah, and I use Instagram mostly for getting patterns and also chatting with crochet friends. Anyways, back to the penguins. I made 6 last week before the Hot Air Balloon Festival. I made 2 black, 2 blue, and 2 pink, and all of them but 1 black sold at that market. I'm pretty sure I would have sold it if I had found it, but it was like buried down in my bags. I couldn't find where I put it, so I did find it after I came home. So this week I made just 5 penguins. I made 1 black, 2 pink, 2 blue. So here's the black ones. One of these is the one I made last week, and one is one I made this week. I already got tags on them. I sell them for $12 and they sell really well. So I made 2 black ones. This yarn is all Premier Stash Goals, which is pretty good yarn. It varies in size. Like the black and the gray are different sizes, different textures, but they work good together, I think. I did have to go down to an eye hook when I was making these, which is a 5.5 millimeter. Usually I use a 6 millimeter with size 6 yarn, but because these yarns kind of vary in their size, I had to go down a hook size. I think the white is Burnout Blanket Scrap All, and actually the yellow is hold on a minute, I'm trying to think. Premier Basic Chanel. So it's not all Stash Goals. I lied. The black and gray is Stash Goals. But it's so cute. It's an also pattern. And I got 14 or 16 millimeter safety eyes in there. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I made the 2 black ones, gray ones. And then I made 2 pink ones, but technically 4 because I made some last week too. So I got the pink ones. The light pink is Burnout Blanket. The dark pink is the Stash Goals yarn. White is Burnout Blanket. Yellow is the same Basic Chanel. 2 of those. 2 last week as well. And then I made 2 blue ones this week and 2 last week. Boop. The blues are both Stash Goals, and the white and the yellow are the same. Pretty cute little penguins. They sold really well for me at that market, this previous market. So hopefully they will again this next one. But sometimes things sell well at one and people don't even look at them at the second one. Another thing that I made last week that all sold at that market were little possums. This is also an Instagram pattern, and here's one of them. I made 4 last week, they all sold, and I made 4 this week. So let's see here. The black and gray is the Stash Goals. His eyes look weird. I think it's just the way it looks cute in life, but I don't know. Whatever. Black and gray is the Stash Goals. Pink is Burnout Blanket. The white is Burnout Blanket. And then I just embroidered eyes. I did use like an off-white to be the white of the eye so that it didn't blend in with the face. So there's 3 more of those. This is a no-sew pattern. You surface crochet the ears on and the tail on after you finish the body. And then I just embroidered the eyes. You could use safety eyes if you wanted to. But I really like this pattern. I was using a different one before that was a lot stubbier and more round. And then I switched to this one and it does really well for me. Colors, possums have always done really well for me. I guess because it's where I live. But yeah, so I made 4 this week and 4 last week. The 4 last week sold, and then I made 4 more this week just to have some more in my inventory. And then something new that I made last week, I had some Big Twist plush yarn that I've had for a while. I still have a skein of it over there in my browns. It's buried. It was a brown color that was all over Joann's, all the Joann's when it was closing. They had like a huge stock of it, I guess. And so I found a pattern on Instagram, but when I went to it, it went to YouTube, so it's a YouTube tutorial. It's in another language, but it is translated on the screen. So I just wrote it down, and then I have it written down now. I thought it was going to come out like yay big. Of course, I did use big yarn, If I'd used something smaller, it obviously would have came out smaller. But even with this yarn, I was thinking it was going to be smaller. Because I wasn't reading like the stitch counts and stuff until I started making it. But it's a cute little gingerbread. It's actually a big gingerbread. So the body is Big Twist Plush. This little bit of white is blanket yarn. And these two are Bernat blanket yarns. These, I'm trying to think if it was this pattern. I think this pattern had these separate. Yeah, you make these separate in her tutorial the way she does it, but I decided just to do smaller bubbles in those rows, and because of the spacing I did add an extra row of solid single crochets. Solid single crochets to space them out a little bit, because I didn't want to make them separately and sew them on. So I made, these are like the 4 triple crochet bubbles I always use to make my arms and legs because it pops out better. These ones are made with 3, I think. I might have used double, I think I used double crochet ones instead of triple crochet, because I wanted them to be smaller but also pop out. But yeah, so that's him. And then he's got big old eyes. I think those are 20mm maybe. And I just embroidered a little smile on there. So I did just make the one. I was planning on making more, and then when he came out bigger, I was like, I kind of don't want to make a bunch of those. So I just made the one. But it's cute. I'll leave it linked below. It is a YouTube tutorial in a different language, but it does have English subtitles. So, alright, and then the last thing, amigurumi, that I made this week was some dragons. All of these dragons' bodies and heads and ears, so everything but the wings, I made at my last market. Earlier, when we first got there and set up, before the market started, I was making these. So I made 5 of them. And let's see, the first 3 are made with yarn that I was gifted recently in a little yarn haul. Whoops, I think I hit the... So this is a Bernat Mystical. I made 2 with it. And then I made a turtle shell with some more of it. So this is a paper pattern on Etsy by Jody's Yarn. It's called Diddy Dex, the Handheld Snuggler. He's supposed to be smaller than this, but I used bigger yarn and hook combo to make him bigger. I have made smaller ones, and they sold really well for me, and these bigger ones sell really well for me. I also do it, in the tutorial she has you make the legs and sew them on. I make the legs first, and then when I make the body, because you start at the tail, I crochet them into the body, and then the ears are sewed on, and then you have to sew the head to the body. But anyways, I made all the body parts, minus the wings, at that market, because I didn't have fiber fill. So then yesterday, when we were driving, we had to drive for an hour, I made all their wings and sewed them on. And then when I got home, I stuffed their heads and sewed their ears on and finished them up and embroidered their eyes. So I got 2 of this mystical color. The wings are just made with a Bernat off-white. Oh, I gotta put horns on them. I forgot to do that. I thought I was done with those, but I gotta put horns on them. This is another one of the yarns I was gifted. This is a Bernat variegated. I don't remember what it's called. I think I was gifted this in that haul, or bought it on Facebook Marketplace. I can't remember. But I just made him. I gotta put horns in him too. And then these last 2 I made with an Bernat ombre cake that I have had for a while. I bought, I think, 4 at Ollie's. Either earlier this year or last year sometime. They had some there for like $5. So I used that one ombre cake and I made 2 of them. So they are varying colors, but I think it looks really cute. They also need horns. I completely forgot their horns. But, so I'm going to set them aside and do their horns. So that's all the amigurumis I made this week. Just market prepping. I was able to add, with these amigurumis and 2 of these things I'm about to show you, and, I haven't added the hats yet. So I was able to add this week $300 and something to my inventory. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and also, I went to my storefront where I have a booth there, a shelf. I took out everything that was been there, and I put out all new stuff. So all that stuff that I had, I'm bringing with me. It's actually already been re-inventoried, and it's already in the bag back there for the next market. But anyways, so I wanted to make me a doily to put right here, which is where my computer is and where my sewing machine is when I sew, to put my water on and my phone, anything like that, just to have a little cushiony area. So I bought some yarn at Hobby Lobby. It's the only craft store near me. Some cotton yarn. I brought, it's called Crafter's Secret, and I bought Christmas print and a green color to make it Christmassy, and I'll use it all year round because I love Christmas all the time. So I did make this one. Isn't that cute? This is a free YouTube tutorial by Jada and Stitches. It's called Pretty Oval Placemat, I think. It's really simple. I made, I did the first like 3 rounds at co-op one day, a homeschool thing that we do, and then I finished it when we got home, and then I liked it so much that after I finished this one for myself, goes over here, I made 2 more. So I did make 2 more in just one setting. I mean, maybe an hour for both of them. Maybe a little over an hour, maybe. I don't know. So I had 2 balls of the Christmas print and 1 ball of the green. And I only had like a little tiny bit of the Christmas print left after these 3. After I made the second one, before I put the green on it, I weighed the Christmas part to make sure I had enough. So it was like 36 grams, and the little ball I had left was 49 grams. So I had just enough to make another of the printed part. And then I still have a lot of the green. Probably half the ball left of the green. But so I made 2 of them, and these 2 I'm actually going to take to my market. I'm going to put 20 on them, because I mean they worked up super quick, and the yarn's pretty cheap. You can get on sale, so I'm going to see. I'm going to take it and see what they do. They are 100% cotton, so you can use them as placemats, coasters type things. They're easy to wash and dry, and they're just pretty Christmas prints. If they don't sell, I'll put them somewhere in my house, or I'll gift them or something. So yeah, I just put $20 on them, and we'll see. I wish they would sell, because I really enjoyed making these. I'd like to make more things like this. I do love plushies and amigurumis. It's always been my main love for crochet. But every now and then it's fun to just make things like this, you know, different things. But, I mean, this worked up so quickly. I think I used a, what is it called? 5mm H-hook. I'm so used now to the millimeters that I forget what the letter is sometimes. But, I think in the U.S. we go by letters mostly, but everywhere else goes by millimeters. So I've been trying to, years ago, you know, people commenting, asking me what millimeters it was. I got that like in my head now, and now I forget what the letters are. But yeah, I used it. It was blue Susan Bates, so it was H, which is a 5mm for this. I think the, let me think for a minute. Maybe I used a G. Now I'm questioning myself. You know what? I think I used a G for mine. It does look a little bit tighter. And then I used H. Because I think the yarn called for a H hook, a 5mm. And I think on the first one I made, this one, it is slightly tighter looking. I used a 4mm hook. And then I remember grabbing an H hook for these ones. So they're just a little bit looser, but it's still very cute. So I'm going to take them and see what happens. Sometimes I sell non-plushy things at my markets. I've taken hats and sold them. I have bandanas and keychains, I guess, count. What else have I taken that's non-plushy? Christmas ornaments aren't plushy. I've sold some over the years. I never sold scarves or blankets or anything. I've taken them to markets, but you know, blankets have to have a pretty high price on them, and people aren't typically looking to spend that much in one place. But you know, it's a good way to get out there that you can make those. But anyways, so I got these cute little doilies. I think they're so cute and they were so fun to make. So these are included in that $300. So all these plushies I made, plus those doilies, all count towards that goal of adding money to my inventory. So now I think I have it written down. I didn't, over here. I had, before this stuff, I had $3,515-ish, because sometimes I miscalculate. Always put ish on there. So I got right under 4,000 again in inventory for this next market. I do have this market, which is coming up. It is 8 to 4. And then my next market, the last market of the year, is on December 5th and 6th. And I think the 5th, it's like 4 hours, and the 6th, it's 5-hour market. So it's like 9 altogether. So, I don't know. Hopefully that's enough stuff. Hopefully I sell a whole bunch of it so I don't have to carry so much into the new year with me. But it's okay if I do. I did this last market. When was that? That was the 8th. When I got home, I went through all my inventory. I sorted it, you know, to make sure everything was accounted for. And I also changed the prices of a lot of things. I lowered the prices. Because I'm, you know, from being at my markets, I watch what people pick up and put back down. So I've been trying to take mental notes of that. And I wanted to change the prices just a little bit. And some things I want to get rid of that I've had for a while, I've lowered the prices on. Just to try to get things to move. And if they don't move these next 2 markets, my spring markets, I'll probably mark a lot of this stuff down even further. Just to push it out, because some of these things I've had for like 2 years. So I want to push them out the door. So yeah, anyways, that's what I've been working on this week. Yesterday I sat down and I tagged all these. I had to make a bunch of new tags. I embroidered eyes on things I needed, like the dragons. And got my square inventory updated, so today I don't have to do much of anything unless I make some more stuff. I do have 2 yellow hats that I have yet to put the smiley faces on. I wanted to make them into smiley face hats. I need to sit down and do that later today. And this next market I'm doing is out of school, and I usually don't like school or church events because they tend to not have high traffic. But this particular one is really good at marketing. And last year I went there and it was really busy. It was way busier than me ever thought because it's a school out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm hoping, and this year it's bigger. It's got twice as many vendors as last year. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a bigger event. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. There are other crochet people there, but from the pictures that she shared, the vendor spotlights, one of them does amigurumis, but they're like worsted weight amigurumis, and one of them was like hats and scarves and blankets and water bottle holders, and she was there last year. I remember she was actually right across from me, and we both did good, so, you know, we weren't in competition because we had completely different inventories. Last year there was a lady who had a sewing booth, like 85% of her booth was sewing stuff, and the other 15% was crochet plushies, but they were giant crochet plushies. She used like that big giant yarn. I don't even know what size it is. Not even 7, it's bigger than 7, whatever that big giant yarn was that came out. And her plushies were ginormous. And I've seen people walking around with them. But, you know, I still did good because it's different markets. You know, different people are attracted to different types of amigurumis. Like some people prefer the little tiny worsted weight, you know, really defined stitches kind of stuff. Some people like the, you know, little goofy looking plushies. And some people like those big giant things. So I don't really mind there being other crocheters as long as we're not all copy paste the exact same. I went to one market as a shopper last year. I can't remember if it was this spring or last summer. And it was a small market to begin with. It only had like maybe 30 vendors. And 8 or 9 of them were crochet vendors, and they all had the exact same stuff. They all had the axolotls and the leggy frogs. All, you know, it looked like the same exact person each table. There was only one that had like different things. That had more oddity type things. And I felt so bad for them because, like, I get if you go to 1 or 2 crochet booths, you might buy something, but if you keep going, if you walk down and there's another one and another one and another one and it's all the exact same stuff, it's not like a different variety of items, it gets old, and it hurts the shoppers from not having things to buy, and it hurts the vendors for not being able to make sales. So that was a crazy market. But that's why it's always good to have like random things, I think. That's why I started making the Mothman and the Cthulhu's, and every now and then I make just like random, like that zombie mermaid and that big potted plant, because it helps your booth stand out a little bit when people are walking by, if they see something that other booths don't have. And lately, that's why I've been trying to add more non-plushy things to my booths, hats and things, because sometimes I get a lot of people, usually like 50-plus-year-olds, that are looking at them and they're like oohing and on over everything, and then they're like, oh, I wish I had someone to buy this for. Well, I think anybody can buy a plushie, but, you know, some people just don't have that. They don't want just plushies sitting around the room. People aren't as eclectic as I am with a Mod Podge house. But, so that's why it's good to have other things that, you know, if they don't want to buy a plushie, they don't have anyone to buy a plushie for, they might buy a doily to put on their coffee table, or they might buy a hat, or, you know, whatever. So it's always good to have a variety of things. I really enjoy making crochet bags. Actually, before I got really into amigurumis, if you go back and watch my videos back in like 2018, I used to make a lot of crochet bags, and I'd make a lot of like things you hang up in your house to decorate, like wall hangings and stuff, because I didn't want to just make blankets and hats. I wanted to make other fun things, and that was before I really got into amigurumis big time. And then once I got bit by the amigurumi bug, I've just been making amigurumis ever since, with occasional things sprinkled here and there. But yeah, so I'm just trying to have like a variety of things so that I can appeal to more people, and also it's just fun to have like a break, you know, to do something more mindless than an amigurumi, and also use different types of stitches and things that you don't use so much with amigurumis. But anyways, that's my little TED Talk, my little chatty chat. I feel like I haven't talked in forever to you guys. It's been a few days since I made a video, and it's just because this week's been crazy. Market weeks are always crazy, plus personal things, you know, going on in life, plus kids, plus homeschool, plus the holidays coming up. It's just been a crazy week, and things are kind of slowing back down, but like every time I say that, something happens and it just goes back into hyperdrive. But we are planning our holiday things. We did go to a Christmas light thing the other day, and we went and saw Santa, and we got pictures made with him. They're not the good ones. Every year when we're at these things, I always see these really made up families that are all wearing matching clothes, and they all get up there and their kids just sit on Santa's lap and are smiling, and I'm sure their pictures are beautiful. And then my family walks in, and when we went, my kids were wearing their pajamas because we went last minute, and we were just going originally to look at Christmas lights, so we weren't planning on getting out of the car. And then we ended up at a place where Santa was at, so I was like, well, we might as well go see Santa while we're here, you know, to get those gifts solidified. So my kids were in pajamas. I was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie. Devin was wearing his pants from work, which are stained with oil and stuff. And Jesse had my egg beret on his head. And he wasn't even wearing it right. It was just like sitting on his head. And Sissy's, in the picture, Sissy's little faces, because it was cold that night, with her cheeks and her nose is red. And we're just not that aesthetically pleasing family, you know. We're not the kind of family that all matches and all look perfect in their photo. It's really hard to get June to smile. She would not have anything to do with Santa Claus. She was terrified of him. She wouldn't sit on his lap, which is fine. But she wouldn't even talk to him. So I had to talk to her, and then to him. Back and forth. So it's just, our pictures aren't the kind you put on Christmas cards and send to people. Ours are always, you know, it's going to be hilarious in a few years when the kids get older to look back at them. But it's so funny how different people are. Because, like, I see those families that are all matching, and they're just all so well put together. And I'm like, man, I wish we could do that. But, like, there's no way on earth my family could ever be like that. Because it's just, our family's chaotic. But I'm sure that those other families have really beautiful pictures. They have the kind that you can print and like hang up in your house. Mine is the kind that you just be like, well, it's going to be funny in a few years. But anyways, we had fun. We got to look at Christmas lights, and we got to see Santa. And we were going to get hot chocolate there, but they had it in those coffee things, and I knew it would be too hot for the kids to drink. It would be hot for a long time, you know. When they put them in those coffee warmer thingies, they come out scalding hot. And I can't give those to my kids, you know, because they 100% will hurt themselves. So we skipped the hot chocolate. But we had fun. And we're going to be going to the Dancing Lights in Lebanon, Tennessee soon. We already got our ticket. I bought it in like September because they had a sale going on. So we just got to pick the night we want to go. I was hoping to go when my sister goes, but she wants to go Thanksgiving night. And I'm like, that's going to be packed. I don't want to go that night. But so we're for sure going to that at some point. And then there's another local one here that you can park and walk around in if it's not freezing cold. Last year it was like 20 degrees, so we got out long enough to take a picture, and we got back in the car. We'll go to it too. And we're just going to be doing all kinds of fun holiday things. Thanksgiving's coming up. We got 2 places to go on Thanksgiving Day. So we're going to be stuffed that day. I'm excited about watching the parade this year because the K-pop Demon Hunter, if you know what that is. If you have any young kids, I'm sure you do because it's super viral right now. June is obsessed with the songs off of it, and they're supposed to be performing one at the parade this year, so I want to watch it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, there's also bags still in the shop if you want to check them out. I got them in this bag right here. There's still totes and drawstring bags, and they're all on sale. They're all 35% off the rest of the month. And these are the last Christmas bags this year. So, cause I don't know if I'm going to make any more bags this year, because I'm just kind of burnt out on making bags. I did see a bag at the storefront that I have a booth at. There's other booths, obviously. And there's a woman there. She had a drawstring bag. It was a boxed bottom drawstring bag, and it had handles on it. And I tried doing that once before, and I messed it up horribly. But I was looking at hers, the way she had hers made, and I was like, I think I could do that. Her handles were made out of the same fabric as her bag, which I can do that. I just hate doing that because it's a tedious process to make your own handles. And she had the drawstring on the side. It was a complete tube of drawstring instead of like a broken up tube. Mine has 2 tubes. So I was sitting there inspecting her bag, and I was like, I think I can make that. But I'm going to try to make new bags, because I'm just kind of burnt out on the regular drawstring bags and the totes. So, but some bags are really hard to make a bunch of, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I've been blabbing for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I got to put this stuff, I got to do these horns, and then put all this stuff in my inventory bags, which I just left out. If you see this red right here, these are eyes Devin finally painted for me yesterday for Cthulhu's and Mothman. I only have like this much stuff in left. So after this market tomorrow, I'm gonna buy some more stuff in. I'm good on yarn. I actually got a yarn order coming. It's supposed to come, I think, Monday. So that's exciting. In that order is some Grinch green yarn, because I want to make some Grinches that are like this big. Maybe even a little smaller. I don't know, somewhere. For the next market, the one in December. I feel like that might be a good market for those. I wish I had some of that yarn now for the market tomorrow, but I don't really have a Grinch green yarn right now. But that's okay. I got plenty of stuff for tomorrow. And the age group, it's at an elementary school. I don't know if I ever said that. But the age group that the program is raising money for is like the 5th grade group. So it's like 9, 10, 11-year-old kids, which is like perfect for me. Those are the age of kids that are super into plushies. If you get a little bit older than that, the boys get disinterested unless they see something like specific that they want. And of course the younger kids are interested, but a lot of times parents don't want to buy them that, which I understand because my kids have a lot of plushies already. So, you know, I don't want a million either. But anyways, wish me luck for tomorrow for my market. I hope I do pretty good. I still gotta get stocking stuffers for my kids. So I gotta do that. But yeah, I guess that's everything. I've been talking for like 30 minutes. I need to call it off. I gotta go clean. I gotta mop the floors and stuff while the kids are gone. Devin took them to the skate park so they can play on their scooters and stuff there. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here and go start cleaning my house. I was gonna record a snake tutorial today, but I don't have the energy to do it. I also was planning to do my love cow soon, but I found a pattern for the body and everything, but I cannot find how I did the ears, so I'm gonna have to rethink the ears. But I'll figure it out and then I'll make them. I'm also planning on, I keep talking. If you're still here, hi. I'm also planning on typing up all my patterns and putting them on my Etsy. I didn't want to do that because there's a lot of drama that happens with doing that sometimes. People buy them thinking it's plushies and then they get mad, even though it's like on the picture and in the description. But I feel like that'd be another good way to bring a little bit more income into the family. And so I'm planning on doing my love cat and turtle, the snake, the love cow, all the patterns I've done recently. I'm going to type them up and put them on Etsy at some point. I was hoping to do that in December when I have a little bit more downtime. Haha. So, I don't know. We'll see. If I get any of that done, it'll be there. Check out the shop if you want to. There's still also a ton of stitch markers on there. Christmas ones, there's still some fall ones, and then there's just random, regular ones. Plus the Christmas bags. The last fall bag sold. So, and I got those orders over here. They're already packaged up. I'm going to drop them off later when I go to pick up my grocery order. Yeah, so these bags are the only ones that's in the shop right now. I do have a bunch of fabric over there to make more bags with. I just don't know when I will. But I do have some of that granny square print still if anyone wants a bag in that. I still got multiple yards of it because I bought the rest of it when it was all clearance. But yeah, I'm going to hop off here now for sure. I'll see you guys in maybe a Christmas video. Who knows. But I'll also see you Sunday for a market recap. Hopefully it's a good one. So wish me luck. Send me good vibes and juju and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys then. Bye guys.